Welcome to another video. And today I'll be doing a mock draft. This will be the second mock draft of the year. And the Raiders are up first. And I think they'll take Shedeur Sanders. He's probably the best QB in the draft. Colorado has won a few games. And he has Travis Hunter. And he's done a good job this season in college football. So he's not the best player, but QB always goes high because it's the most important position. And the Raiders really very badly need a QB. And him and Brock Bowers could be very good together. So I think Shedeur Sanders is the best QB, and that's who the Raiders would take one. And now, once again, the Giants need a QB also. Cam Ward, you might say this is too high, but the Giants need a QB, so I think they'll take Cam Ward. He's the second best QB, I think, in the draft class, and he has high potential. He's a little, he throws a lot of picks, but he's a strong arm, and he's good at improvising. He has a little reckless to him. So yeah, but I think he'll be a good QB. I don't know if the Giants keep Brian Dable. If they do, I think Brian Dable can do wonders with it with a QB like him one. Who's he's not obviously I'm not gonna say he's like Josh Allen, but he's similar in some ways. Well, maybe more like Jordan Love. Just a little. He has to get developed a little bit. All right, now the Patriots at 3. They'll probably gonna take Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is the best player in the draft. They do need linemen, but I don't think there's any linemen worth taking above Travis Hunter. But it is a very big need. But they also need a receiver, and Travis Hunter can play receiver, can play corner. See, they don't really need a corner, but if he plays corner, he'll play probably a little bit of receiver. So, and a and you could always use a corner. Jonathan Jones is getting old, and Marcus Jones isn't the best number 2. So I like that pick for the Patriots. So now the Panthers. This is easy. They need talent on that defense. So get the best defensive tackle, Mason Graham. Him and Dale Brown be an elite defensive tackle duo, and it'll show up that it'll help that pass rush a little bit. I don't know if Javion Clowney. I don't. I think this is the last year of his deal, so they need edge. But I like taking the next best player in the draft. So now the Jags. I think that the Jags will take. See, this is tough because usually they're at like number 2, number 1, or something. I think they would take Will Johnson, corner. They have they have a corner in Tyson Campbell, but I think Will Johnson's like a very good elite potential could be next to what's his face Campbell, Tyson Campbell. So I like that pick a lot for the Jags. So yeah, Will Johnson, that it's a good corner duo and helps that defense, which is pretty bad. Say Will Johnson at 5. Now the Titans, they need a receiver, and a good receiver is here on the board. Uh, Tyree McKinnon, I can't say his name, but Tyquan McMillan, whatever his name is. He's a really good receiver at Arizona State, and I would help the Titans a lot. They traded D Hop. Calvin Ridley's good. Tyler Boyd's probably going free agency, and they have Traylon Burks and Akeem Westbrook. So I think that would make a good receiving core. You have that alpha number 1, Calvin Ridley, as like the 2, and you have Traylon Burks who can play the 4, the 3. So yeah, I would like their offense at receiver, and that should help with Levis a lot. So now the Jets. Honestly, hot take. If they keep, if they keep, what's his, if they keep Aaron Rodgers, or if they get rid of him, they probably need a QB. If they keep him, I could see Jalen Milroe going because he's elite potential. If they don't keep him, I could see Quinn Ewers. I think he should be higher. He's probably right. Coming out of college, he's going to be better than Jalen Milroe, but I think Jalen Milroe just has so much potential. It's going to be like the Anthony Richardson situation. A team's going to pick him up. Now, will he be good? Will Will they be able to develop him? I don't know. Will he actually be good? We don't know about AR. So I think Jalen Milroe will go. He'll sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year, develop a little bit. Aaron Rodgers can show him some things. They all different players, but Aaron Rodgers is a top 10 QB all time. So I like that pick for the Jets. And now the Browns. They could also use a QB, but I don't think there's any QBs worth taking here. And Deshaun Watson is getting paid all this money. You might want to wait. And I could see Ashawn Gentry going here because they have a really solid team already. But the Browns need offensive linemen, so I think they take Will Campbell. Will Campbell is probably the best tackle in the draft by not by a lot, but I think he's the best. He can play guard, tackle, center. He can't play center. Actually, I don't know why I said that, but he can play over the line. So yeah, I like that pick. And now on to the Bears. I think the Bears. I think they'll take defense here, and I think they'll take a Duke Carter, the best edge rusher, 4-9, and they could use defensive tackle, but they also need edge. Daryl Taylor has been a good pass rusher, an okay pass rusher, but his run defense isn't all that. A Duke Carter isn't the best run defender. The Bears could use linemen, but you get the best edge rusher out of the draft right here. So just make that even better. And he's the best player available, other than Ashawn Gentry. So I like that pick, a Duke Carter. That Bears defense will be elite. And now the Bengals. Last time I did this, I took Ashawn Gentry here. He might fall. The Bengals might say running back is the biggest need since the Duke Carter went to the Bears. Kevin Banks Jr. fell one spot, and the Bengals could use a better offensive line. It's still really bad, and Kevin Banks Jr. I think play guard, play tackle, which would make that offensive line a lot better. So I like that pick for the Bengals if they don't go Ashawn Gentry. And now the Saints. They could use a receiver because Chris Olave we're not sure about his health, and I think they would take Luther Burden. He's a really good receiver out of Missouri, and I like that pick for the Saints. Now the Cowboys, Ashawn Gentry. I think the Cowboys take Ashawn Gentry. They have probably the worst running back room in the league. So if they had Ashawn Gentry, that'd be big. And Ashawn Gentry might win the Heisman this season, which is today. They're gonna choose who wins Heisman. He's broken. I think he broke Barry Sanders' record. It was close, and he's probably the best running back coming out of college in a while. So yeah, I think he would be good for the Cowboys. I would hate if they picked him in real life because I'm a Giants fan. But yeah, Ashawn Gentry for the Cowboys. Now the Dolphins, they could. I think they have to take a lineman. Their line's so bad, and their offense is fine. I think they take. Well, the offensive linemen aren't great, but I think they take Cameron Williams. He's a good tackle. He can play guard too, and they need another tackle or go. They just need offensive linemen. They have Teron Armstead, but that's it. He's getting up there in age, so I like that pick. And the Saints, Malik Starks. I think they take him. They need a safety. He's by far the best safety in the draft. Safeties don't usually go this high, but this guy is really good. So I think they'll take him to make their safety room a lot better. Now the Falcons, they need edge rusher, so I think they take. Let me see. I think they take James Pierce Jr. I think he's the best edge rusher in the draft. Sorry, not the best. One of the best edge rushers in the draft. The second best, probably. And yeah, they come out of Tennessee, and he do wonders for that defense. As Matthew Judon wasn't a great, like he wasn't as good as people thought he would be, but he's still a fine edge rusher. And if you have him for another season, they resign him, then he could be a two to James Pierce Jr. because Lorenzo Carter isn't it as a number two. So the Cardinals, they can go a lot of ways here. This is tough because defense, but they really need. I think they take Nick Sutton, whatever his name is. He's a great edge rusher. He's also very good. Him and James Pierce Jr. are close. And there's another guy, Mikael Williams. And so yeah, the Cardinals really need edge rusher. And that defense isn't playing great. So yeah, I like that pick for the Cardinals. Now the 49ers, they could use linemen. They could use edge too. I think they take edge because Mikael Williams is probably the best, is a better pick than any tackle or lineman. So yeah, I like that for them. So yeah, they take Mikael Williams to pair next to Nick Bosa, elite edge group, and yeah. So now with the Rams, I could sneaky CQB, but I think Matthew Stafford would be there for at least another year or two. And they need other things like they could use tackle. Sorry, they could use line, but I think they'll take defense. I think they take Benjamin Morrison, a good corner out of Notre Dame, to help that defense because the corners aren't playing great. Tre'Davious White, who they signed, wasn't what they thought he would be. So yeah, I like that pick for the Rams. Now the Bucks. See, this is tricky. They could use a receiver because the receivers are old and very injury prone, but I think they would take. This is tough. I'm gonna take best player available, Jalen Walker, linebacker. Georgia is a very good linebacker. This is high for a linebacker, but we've seen stuff like this before. Jack Campbell went with the 19th pick. So yeah, I think the Bucks would take a linebacker. They have Avante Davis, but he's getting up there in age. Devin White isn't there anymore. They could use edge rusher too. I could see that, but the edge is available. I don't think, or that like that great. There's a few guys if I can get there. Edge rushers that they've. Yeah, these are. This, oh damn. Yeah, edge rushers, OT overtime. See, like I don't know, and Jalen Walker could convert to edge like Micah Parsons did because he's very athletic. So yeah, I like that pick. So now Washington, they can use receivers, but they probably need defense. So I think they would take. Hmm. Honestly, I think they take receiver because he probably shouldn't be here at this point at pick 20. They could use a receiver next to Terry McLaurin, and I think they would take Isaiah Bond because he's very fast out of Texas, one of the best receivers in the draft, and him and Terry McLaurin are a good duo. And if they resign Noah Brown to play in the slot, I like that a lot for the Washington Commanders. Now the Chargers could use receiver, but he's more of a slot guy than Ikem Ibuka. He's more of a slot guy, and you know Jim Harbaugh loves his guys, Michigan guys. I think they take Colston Loveland, best tight end in the draft, and I think they take him because they need a tight end, and John Jim Harbaugh coached him. So and they took Michigan players last year in the draft. So yeah, I think they take Loveland. And now the Broncos, they're going to take receiver Ikem Ibuka. He's a good guy in the slot. He's one of the best receivers in the draft. So yeah, I like that pick for the Broncos a lot to help Bo Nix because that defense is very good. Seahawks, they need linemen. John Simmons, just Josh Simmons. Best lineman. They don't need a tackle, but he go into guard, and that's what they need. They need a guard. So yeah, to replace Laken Tomlinson, who's been awful for them. So I like that pick for the Seahawks. Now the Ravens. I could. There's no receivers. But I could see defense. This is tough. I think the Ravens. They need people in the secondary, but the corners available. see. They could take Revelin out of East Carolina. I could see them doing that. They need corners. Their secondary has not been good this season. Injury prone. So yeah, they might just take another guy in the first round. I could see them taking edge or deep tackle too. Maybe even not running back. So yeah, I like that pick for the Ravens. Now the Texans, they need offensive linemen. Emerson, I think go here. The Texans really badly need a player like Emerson because their offensive lineman terrible. C.J. Stroud took like I think the second most sacks in the league. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure second most. It's been terrible. All right, now the Green Bay Packers. They could use defense. Maybe a tackle, but I think they're good at finding linemen. They're not gonna take one in the first round. So I think they go Kenneth Grant, defensive interior lineman. Their defense has been a lot better this year, but it still isn't like insane. And they could use one more guy in there. So I think they can Kenneth Grant. Now on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they can realistically take a QB here. I think they'll Quinn Ewers might go in the first round. I don't know if they will take QB, but I think they could. But Quinn Ewers isn't looking great right now. And maybe Russ can come back and they think they're in a Super Bowl window. So I could see them also taking hmm. Yeah, I'll probably go quarterback here to be honest. Quinn Ewers. I like that a lot for them. Because he has potential and he can throw the ball deep. That's what they need. They need QB like Russell Wilson. I think he's not as mobile maybe as Russell Wilson. Right now, probably he's as mobile as Russell Wilson. So yeah, this is just a good QB. They take at 27, can develop. They don't have a lot of needs, so I like this pick. Maybe you might want to take tackle guy to West Virginia, but that's really it. Okay, now the Minnesota Vikings. See them taking running back. Very possible. The running backs aren't the best, but running back. I don't know if they would take one this early though. I think they need to take defense, and I think they take edge. I think they take LT overtime because he's a versatile player out of Alabama, and he can play kind of 3 tech, not really. He can kind of play inside the end. He's just very versatile. I think he could line up as a 3 tech a little bit, like I said, but he's more of an edge rusher in a 4-3. I think that will work great with Brian Flores' scheme, which is versatile, and you can play people anywhere. So I like that for the Vikings. And now the Bills. They need a receiver, but the receivers are off the board. So they could use someone in the secondary. And they could use someone in the secondary. So I'm not saying they're on defense, my fault. But who would that be? The tackle. Only person I can think about at DT probably Walter Nolan, but I don't even know if maybe Derek Holman, but I don't see much value. I think like they might trade this pick if there's no good receivers on the board. So they probably just take best player available. And now I can see edge here because this is good value for an edge rusher. And Showman Stewart, he can be a number 2 when Von Miller retires or isn't on the team anymore, and he can develop under him. So yeah, I like that. So yeah, I like Showman Stewart. So now the Eagles. I think they would take a tackle. I could see this thing Eagles do. They take a tackle, a developmental tackle in the first round. To eventually he'll play. Linemen do that a lot. So Lane Johnson's old. I think taking a tackle to eventually replace him. So I like that pick for them. He's another team that needs receiver, but I don't see any receivers that take in the first round. See, tight end maybe, but I don't think they take one here. None of these guys are insanely worth it. I think they'd be upset because they need a tackle. Two, they need linemen. The draft isn't very like all these players aren't great left, so I think they'll just take like someone in the secondary, like Trey Amos. I think that's a fine player. Not much here. We're not doing trades. They could trade back for a team who wants to take Carson Beck to get the 50 or Drew Aller. That could happen, but since no trades, that's what I think they'll do. And now the Rams, a running back, you might then obviously side the line, not the Rams. The Lions don't need a running back. So I think they can buff up that defensive line and take. Let me go to him. Derek Ham, or Walter Nolan. I think they'll take. He's a very good defensive tackle. So that's my second fantasy draft. Thank you for watching. Second fantasy draft this year. Thank you for watching, and see you next week for the next one. Bye.